What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuff71, aka Digadulamite.
Purple bling bling, y'all.
And your auditory canals are tuned in to episode 258 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. And as usual, I am not in the digital studio alone. Along with me got my partners in crime. First on deck, we got Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Hater.
That's me.
Change it up on you a little bit.
I saw that.
a.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that Gamer Stepdaddy. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. Just happy to be here, as always, talking about this hobby of ours that we all kind of can come together and relate to and, love, and that's video games. So, yeah, always a pleasure.
All right. And, of course, our show is a no-go without Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who could maximize your gaming dollar. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just got 10 million things to do and not enough time to get them done. So it's like, it just seems one thing after another over here in Casa de Jabroni over here. So, if longtime listeners would know, I've talked about like, I'm going to move my computer to a different desk and then set up a PlayStation. And I'm still in the process, even months later, of getting everything done. But it's a process.
Yeah, to-do lists are really good.
Yeah, for sure.
The way you kind of keep it in the forefront, you just kind of gotta commit to the bit.
You got it. Got it. So I am trying to commit here so I could, get the ultimate desktop gaming setup, and I'll like carry on as a new forlorn PC gamer or something with a like awesome setup, and so I could ascend and get rid of all this other go with the master race, because everyone's hating on this console life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't give it to the haters. They can do whatever they want. I ain't hating.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna move us into what is always our first topic on the docket. What are we talking about? We're talking about our summer backlog blowout update and our playlist. So, let's kick things off with Dez. What you been doing, bro?
I have been playing absolutely nothing, and it's sad. It is.
So you
sad.
paying for everybody, huh? Okay.
Nope. Because as long as I beat one, more than Joe, I'm happy.
I'm working. I am doing the work.
As long as I beat one more
be
than
prepared
Joe,
to pay for my meal and Kev's meal,
nope,
because
as long as I beat more than Joe, I'm happy. So yeah.
Yeah, I know it's sad. I know it's sad times when I look at your gamer tag on PSN and it says last sign on 1 month ago. So
it's been rough. I new jobs, getting set up with it, and taking care of stuff. It's tired. Like, it's tiring. Like, I got an hour commute on the train. So, but yeah, it's okay. I'll get to it. I'll take care of it. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Anything else up to geek oriented or like other stuff in your comings and goings since the last episode?
Not really, actually. I'm just. I know Joe and I are going to Japan for a Tokyo Game Show, so getting ready for that, and looking at Joe and I have the opportunity to meet a couple of people, so that's going to be fun. I can't wait to do that. By meet people, I mean meet various studios and execs and talk to them and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. So,
got it. See any movies lately?
Yeah, I saw Beetlejuice too. That was fun. Or Beetlejuice. That was fun, if not a bit formulaic, but there were, I thought that movie was a little bit too it was overwrote. Like there was way too much stuff in it that didn't need to be in it. Like there's like the secondary character, his wife, to give him backstory. She didn't need to be there. William Dafoe's character didn't need to be there. It just seems like they kept adding people just to add people, and I was like, you know what, it's unnecessary. So
I think all three of us saw it since the last episode. So I mean, what I'd have to say, it's been a long time since I've seen the original Beetlejuice, and I just kind of felt like the movie was lacking more Beetlejuice business and less of all this like side plot stuff, like you mentioned. So
yeah, that's what I mean. It was like there was just too much stuff.
So I'll be the odd man out. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Don't get me wrong.
I thought it was almost as good as the original. I think that to me, if they would not have had these ancillary characters, it would have just been like Beetlejuice 1 remastered. To me, it's like we already know he's always been trying to marry the gal, and it would just have been a replay of the first movie. So I think with his wife and all this other stuff added in, I think it gave the sequel a little bit more meat. My only thing is that I would have wished that there would have been maybe a little. There would have created some creative tissue between William Dafoe and Beetlejuice, because it's like when you see them on screen together, it looks like they have some type of they have some type of rapport beyond just being co-workers.
Yeah.
I wish that they would have established a little bit more connective tissue in that area, but I thought it was really good. It took my wife; she had never seen the original, and in my opinion, I think you'll get more out of the movie if you've seen the first one.
Oh, definitely.
If you go in dry, having not seen the first.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was okay. I just wish it was a bit better. But yeah, that's what opinions are. So. But that's pretty much all I've been doing, really, is just kind of working and getting used to the schedule. I mean, it's been about a month and a week since I've been there. I'm slowly getting used to it, slowly getting used to the daily grind of getting up at 6 and taking the train and stuff like that. And so yeah, I mean, I'm getting there, and I feel once I kind of get that sort of in order, I'll be able to allot gaming time to it. I know we only have about a week left. I think the 22nd is when it's over. That's the first day of fall, technically. So I got, at time of recording, I got 7 days. So let's see what I can beat in 7 days. So
we'll probably record next Sunday and see where the chips fall. So next episode, you definitely will see which member of the vessels is buying dinner for the other two. So
well, yeah, I mean, it's obvious Kev's gonna get something just from so we'll see. But that's all I've been doing. So I'm gonna kick it over to Jabroni. What you been doing, sir?
As far as I've been steadily trying to play Secret of Mana right now. So like last episode, kind of commit. So pretty much, even though I want to play Astrobot, even though I want to play other things, it's like when I sit down and get ready at the game, I am playing just Secret of Mana. That's what I've been doing. So I don't feel like I've been like I feel like it's a ball and chain or anything like that. But the playthrough's been good. There's been certain instances where I don't want to sit here and try to experiment as far as trying to find where I need to go next. And the game does an okay job with doing that, but there's certain portions to where I might be grinding some maps and trying to figure out where the next step is, and then after that point, obviously there's walkthroughs for this game, because this game has been out since 1993. least the original on there, and pretty much the remake I'm playing is pretty much almost like it's not it's like a remaster, not a remake. I would say it's maybe in between on there, but I got kind of tired of the remastered music, so I put on the original Super Nintendo music after a while. So I've been enjoying that. So sometimes the mix could get a little jarring on there. I did choose Japanese voices, so. But I'm looking forward to finishing it hopefully before fall gets here on here. So I'll be whacking that out. As far as anything else I've been up to, obviously going to the movies still, since I'm Mr. Regal Unlimited over here. Me and Kev went to go watch Ninja Scroll.
Ooh.
On there, and that's the first time I actually seen that damn movie, and that movie is just kind of crazy. I imagine if I saw it back in the day that it would have definitely left a lasting mark on me. So
I'm so surprised you haven't seen it. You hadn't seen it before.
I bought it. I bought it back in the day. I had it. I mean, I had the VHS, so just happened never to go and see that, unfortunately. So I kind of feel bad because I know Goonie met us too as well, and I wound up because I bought his ticket. I bought a ticket for a separate showing the prior day, and so once he got there, and of course he got there late, unfortunately, and basically the person that was sitting in his seat was actually in their seat. But good time was had by all. I don't know, is it kind of cool to see it again, Kev, in the theater?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's been a long time since I last saw it. Probably close to 20 years since I last watched it. And Ninja Scroll aside, probably Ninja Scroll and Macross, or what we call Robotech in the States, are probably the two things that kicked off my interest in anime. Dragon Ball kind of solidified it once I got a grasp on what that was, in particular Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, Ninja Scroll and Robotech were my introductions to anime. Robotech first because I was just so. I think it was the fact that people got killed in Robotech. I'd never seen a cartoon where people got killed before.
Yeah.
before I watched Robotech, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." I was coming home from, was I in elementary school or middle school?
Probably middle school.
Saw it. Yeah, it was something like that, or somewhere in between 6th and 7th grade. Coming home, and just my mind was blown because Robotech came on Channel 53 just as I was coming home from school. And I was absolutely blown away with the fact that people actually got killed in this cartoon. And I just thought that was the neatest thing since sliced bread. So,
murk him.
Yeah. I used to think to myself, how come G.I. Joe can't be like this?
Because Americans are soft.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool checking it out again.
All right, Joe, back to you.
Oh, that was pretty much it for me as far as this past week. Sorry about that.
No
Kev, what you been up to? What you been playing? What you been doing?
So I had recently come back from a vacation in Las Vegas. Really enjoyed my time there, hanging out with my wife for her birthday, and her dad and stepmom, hanging out with them as well. Didn't win any money this time around, but still had fun doing a little gambling, playing the slots. Two things. I had probably the best barbecue I've ever had in my life from a business. So the next time you're in Vegas, you have to check out Rollin' Smokes Barbecue. You can order any. They have a massive menu. You can pretty much order anything individually you want. I would suggest you go in hungry and get the $50 all-you-can-eat buffet, because that gives you access to everything on the menu. I had beef ribs that were dang near 4 inches thick, maybe 5 inches thick. Baby backs, spare ribs, pulled pork, meatloaf, and all of it was unbelievably good. They had the best mac and cheese I've ever had anywhere, homemade or otherwise, period. And it was just fantastic. And you know, somebody black has to be involved when you have Kool-Aid on tap.
Oh, wow.
Grape, cherry, tropical, and they even had Tang. So there's a brother involved somewhere in there. So it was absolutely delicious. It wasn't overly sweet. It wasn't diabetes inducing sweet like it usually is when it's homemade. It was just perfect sweetness, just fantastic barbecue, fantastic eating. And the other thing that I did, one of the other things that I did was I went to this place called Player One Retro Arcade Bar, and that place was phenomenal. Retro arcade machine stuff that I can remember playing in at Festival, a few things maybe from Neon. It didn't have like, and I know it's going to be impossible to get that, or near impossible to get that unless you're going to some place like, California Extreme. But they had a really good cross section of retro styled arcade machines. They had Popeye, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong. They even had 50 cal, which I hadn't seen anywhere outside of a 7-Eleven back when I was in high school. And one of the neat things that they had was, and I think we both have the equivalent of it. They had a Pandora's box with arcade controls. So, for those who don't know, Pandora's box is, and I think you can get them off of Amazon as well. It's these basically Raspberry Pis with, 5 to 10,000 different arcade and retro 16-bit games pre-built into them. So I spent like an hour just kind of messing with the messing with that Pandora's box. Played a Japanese side scroller shooter that was awesome. Don't ask me the name of it because I don't remember it, but it was like a World War I in a fantasy world inspired side shooter. All I remember is that the last two words were no doshi in the title, and it was great. Just an overall fantastic experience. They have one in Los Angeles as well. So for folks that are Cali based, you can always check it out there. But definitely worth going. $6 is your cover for as long as you want. If you come in at opening and don't close and don't leave until closing, that $6 covers you. Not only does it cover you while you're there, you can leave and come back.
Wow.
Yeah, for $6. Now, the reason they let you do that is because these people have the most, at least this location has the most intricate bar I've ever seen in a business. So that's where the majority of their money is coming from. They have a team of bartenders working that bar, and pretty much just about every type of alcohol known to man. They also have a wide variety of what do they call it? Independent breweries, craft brews on tap. So that's really all you're going to get. I think they have like a couple of different bar foods like pretzels and maybe like the equivalent of Gino's pizza rolls. You're not going to get any food there, food there. They're really just known for arcade games and alcohol. And that's really all. I guess that's really all you need for that. You can also rent retro consoles. The consoles they had available there, they had a original Xbox, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2. What else? I think they had a 360. They also had a PS5, Xbox Series console there. And what's neat is that the rented consoles were all attached to like 65-inch flat screen TVs. But the dope thing about it was that there was a QR code next to each television. So when you wanted to play, all you had to do was scan the QR code, and it would take your phone's web browser to their I guess their internal website. You place an order for whatever game that they have on the menu, and then someone would just bring you the disc, which I thought was pretty dope. So you don't even have to get up and get to the bar if you want to rent a game. At the bar, they had Nintendo GameCubes and Switches attached. So a lot of people, like there was a couple there packing down cocktails and playing Mario Kart. And I just thought it was like one of the dopest businesses I've ever been to. Throughout the week, like I was there on a Wednesday, and one of the employees told me that if I stuck around till 8 o'clock, then they changed the whole theme of the business. It turns into like a anime con motif. They have people coming in selling anime oriented stuff. They switch all the TVs to playing, like exclusively like Japanese games. They have fighting game tournaments there. It's just really a really cool place to hang out. And I got a chance to play some arcade machines that I hadn't played since I was in middle school and high schools, which I thought was really cool. So had a great time doing that. Movie wise, saw Beetlejuice. And I also saw another one, and I can't remember if I mentioned in the last one. I saw Aliens Romulus, which is also very good. But game wise, for me, it's been Astrobot, which is fantastic. It is. If you didn't know that, if you didn't know that Miyamoto worked for Nintendo, you would say that he might have had something to do with Astrobot. It's that good. Astrobot. No, they don't call it Astrobot 2. It's just called Astrobot, I think. Fantastic platformer. I'm getting ready to beat the first boss in the first galaxy. It's definitely inspired by Mario Galaxy because everything has a galactic theme to it. And it's just oozing all kinds of charm. You collect other Astrobots, and they all have PlayStation character themes. You use them to gain access to different power-up perks from in your hub. And it's just, even if you're not really all that into platformers, you can't help but enjoy Astrobot. It's an absolutely amazing game. Still playing EDF 6. I am 71 missions deep into EDF right now. I've been playing offline all the way through and having a blast with that, fighting all kinds of aliens and giant octopi and everything else this game throws at you. Still having a blast with that, and still enjoying Helldivers 2. And the thing with Helldivers 2, I went back and tried my flamethrower loadout, and they nerfed that to hell and back. It's bad. It's really bad. It's you before you could take out the chargers with the flamethrower, you can't even do that anymore. I mean, you can, but you have to treat the flamethrower the same way you do any other weapon. You have to try and get around to the back end of the charger and shoot it at its exposed thorax, I guess, if you're talking bug terms. But yeah, it's no bueno. They need to bring back the awesomeness of the flamethrower for sure. So I've been running a heavy machine gun build, and I've been kind of getting better and better at that. And that's kind of been my go-to for my solo runs in that game. So pretty much that's what I have been up to for my gaming. So with that said, we're going to move on to our next topic of our docket, and that's going to be main event time. So Des, you got the mic, my friend.
Alrighty, everybody. So for our question, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the Jabroni Gaming News, but I wanted to know, like, I think this is on a lot of people's, like, they're on their minds, and that is, and the question is, no judgment, but are you going to buy the new PS5 Pro? Let us know why, whether you are or not, and we'll talk about it on our next episode. Now, before we go into the actual, like I said, Jabroni Gaming News is going to go over, a lot more, industry stuff. I wanted us to have a conversation about just how we feel about it. I know it's very touchy-feely, but what are our, like, initial thoughts about it, and what are we gonna, where are we landing on this? So I'll start the conversation off. At the beginning, super hyped for it. We knew it was coming. They did the specs, they did everything, and I have to tell you, my Sony ponyness, I started to get hyped. I was like, meh, I started, like, I was ready for it. But then I started to, like, look at other things, and I started to really kind of think about it. And for me, I think I'm gonna have to wait. I'm not an early adopter. I've never really been an early adopter about new tech and all this other stuff, and so I really felt that I have that for me, I'm gonna have to wait. And this is because I think if they had showed off a new game, or new games had came with it, I would have been a little bit more, excited about it, or had a little bit more, like, oh, I get to play this game, that's coming out. But if it's just going to be playing better looking versions of my older games, well, that's great and all, but for me, I don't think that I'm going to be able to really see the difference, because I don't have the best vision. That I'm, like, the high res hater. I think it's funny that Kev said that today, because maybe I'm going to be a little bit of a high res hater right now and be like, again, for me, I just think if they would have said, oh, look at how well Monster Hunter, looks on the Pro, or look at how well this game that's coming out looks on the Pro. Look at how well this looks on the Pro. Maybe I would have been a little bit more hyped, and I'd have been like, okay, maybe I really need to get the system to play it at the best, because it looks so good and it runs smoother and it does this and it does that. But for right now, I am taking a wait and see approach. So I'm going to kick it over to Kev, because Kev, I think you were very, very excited, and had your money in hand. So I want to see what your thoughts of the announcement are, and whether you're going to be getting it immediately.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I mean, I kind of figured that, but
yeah, I'm here for it. The thing is, it's like, number one, you got to have. There's a couple of things that folks gotta realize, and I look at this very similarly to the automotive industry. If you've got a Dodge Challenger V6, you got a Dodge Challenger V8, and then you got a Hellcat 800 some odd horsepower. And The Hellcat is the Pro of the Dodge Challenger lineup. So if you're happy with your V6 or you're happy with your V8 Scat Pack, you don't need to upgrade to the Pro, to the Hellcat. It's offering a level of performance that you don't need, that does not fit your use case for that product. And it's the same thing with this console. I've got a 120 hertz TV with VRR, all the R supports, So I have the display that can take advantage of it. We were all, if you were paying attention like an enthusiast was, that the insiders were saying, look, you're looking at 650 to 7. So when people talk about the sticker shock, it's like, cry me a river, clutch the pearls someplace else. If you were paying attention, you should have been prepared to hear that. And as far as the games, I think I was expecting for it to say, look, you're going to be able to play these PlayStation exclusives in fidelity, in performance and fidelity modes comparable to what you see in high-end PCs, which is exactly what I was expecting to see. Third party is likely to start taking advantage of these things. Cerny was very straightforward in talking about, mentioning his discussions with developers. So that's good to hear. It sounds like a third party is going to be taking advantage of some of the kit's spec sheet. And and number 3, I have no interest in PC gaming. I'm not spending $1,500 just on a video card. I'm not doing that just to play some games and then have to fiddle with Windows and fiddle with drivers and fiddle with all this other stuff. I've built a gaming PC. I have a 1070. I'm looking at it right now. I can't tell you the last time I turned that damn thing on, because PC gaming is a pain in the ass. I mean, I know that is it better than it was way back in the day before Steam? Yes, it is. But for me, I don't feel like fiddling with it. And if I can get similar performance, I said similar performance to what folks are getting in a high-end PC gaming rig in the form of a console box, sign me up. It's really that simple. I like the way it was presented. And I think, I think they did a good job of presenting it. I think they did probably the best job that they could, because remember when the PS5 was first announced and Cerny gave that long drawn out talk, that was criticized. Oh my gosh, we don't know anything. He was just talking. He does a 9-minute overview, breaks it down into the most basic of basic terms, which I understood completely well. And I am by no means a tech expert. I don't know what PSSR and VRR and RJR and JR, who shot JR. I don't know what all that other stuff does from a technical level, from a technical list. But I think Cerny did a good job of breaking it down and making it comprehensible to a layman, an enthusiast layman. I'm not going to go and do the research on those terms that he was barking out. I'm not. I don't care that much. All I want to know is that this console is going to give me the results that they're playing, that they're describing, and it's PlayStation's job to do the proper marketing for the product, just like any other business. So yeah, I'm down. I'm down for that. Absolutely down, particularly with the with some of the trade-in prices that are going on right now. So
Yep.
like if you can live without your PS5 for the next month and a half or so, this would be a good time to trade it in and put it towards that for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Depends. So.
Well, I think it's funny you're talking about. I think your analogy about the various different cars and the Hellcats and stuff like that. I think that's a really good analogy because people often forget that gaming is a luxury, that you do not need to survive, and if you have the ability to do it, by all means, and if you have the ability and the drive to make it, then do it. Have fun, knock yourselves out. And I think that perfectly describes my thought about it because I'm happy with what I have. And Joe made it painfully clear, when we were talking about this earlier this week. He's like, well, your TV's kind of old anyway, and you don't need to have all this bells and whistles. And I was like, well, thanks.
Well, you're not going to see it. You're not going to
exactly.
see the benefits.
Yeah.
You're not going to see the benefits.
So I know he was being very pragmatic, but I was just like, well, thanks, Joe.
You need a 42-inch LG OLED stat in there, son. So
no, I do not.
Yes,
I'm happy with what I have.
Yes, you do. No.
I'm happy with what
That's
I
the
have.
first upgrade you need to think about before you even think about a PS5 Pro. So
well, I think I'm here. But I think that's a great transition to Joe's thoughts. So, Joe, are you going to get it? Yes or no?
Yeah,
I think we all know. Yeah, I think we all know. But
yeah, and I could understand the criticism out there. I know that it's been kind of jumped on. Like, I hate to say it, but the big old hive mind of gamers out there are just outraged about the cost and whatnot. But when you look at it, it's only $200 more than the base unit. I just wish Sony would have thrown everyone a solid and just put a damn disk drive in there. That way, people are not trying to go on the hunt to buy a second disk drive, especially for the people that early adopters that have the original, just the big fat PS5, not the PS5 Slim. Because if you own a PS5 Slim, all you have to do is just disconnect your hard drive off of that and basically just roll with your regular PS5 as a digital unit versus a disk unit, if that's the case. So so I kind of wish in a way they would have just done a maybe $749 SKU with the disk drive included, and just left that and had a separate digital SKU for the PS5 Pro, maybe available only at PS Direct or something like that. So, and I know a lot of gamers out there are looking at apples and oranges, and I understand, hey, PC is the best platform, the God tier platform. It is for some people. And, I love the fact that, on the PC, you could basically mix and match components to your heart's content. My problem is I cannot bring the thousands of games I have in my PlayStation library over to play on a PC. So therefore, the value of me buying a PS5 Pro is basically, even though you could consider it mid compared to like a GeForce 4090 or like the top tier AMD card, it's going to fit the bill for me. It's a box I could throw under my TV and be able to sit down, play some games at the best fidelity on my 65-inch OLED, and to be able to enjoy myself and to be able to play the games I want to play. I do understand the value aspect of it, though. So, I mean, I think eventually I've been looking into building a better PC for myself. Been asking Goonie for some like kind of tips if need be. I want to get a good 1440p box, at least to play. I'm not going to try to play the latest and greatest. It's more like just hammering out my Steam library and my backlog and whatnot, and maybe getting some synergy between that and playing that in Steam Deck. But as far as the presentation is concerned, I kind of felt that they could have done more as far as leaving it down to 9 minutes for the entirety of the presentation. At least they should have done 15 to 20. They maybe should have introduced maybe a new title or two in the mix, and maybe showed some more comparisons and introduced third-party software in there. I mean, I've been kind of picking out some stuff that was coming out from Digital Foundry, saying that they're saying that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to run a lot better on PS5 Pro. They're talking about that Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to run at 60 frames a second in the best graphical fidelity mode on there. And so, I felt that also, too. They gave CNET, of all the freaking outlets out there, CNET, an exclusive hands-on, which they made an accompanying video. Of course, all these videos are out on YouTube, and so YouTube what are you going to see on a YouTube screen? You're going to see shit. It's all compressed, 1080p. It just looks like crap. And so, they should have reached out to Digital Foundry, because that's where a lot of people go to get this tech analysis and kind of go from there as far as having them get an early hands-on. They should have done more to, let it get out there to other outlets too as well. So, I mean, I think that's something to where they need to get to a sweet spot. A rambling 45-minute Cerny presentation is not exactly going to light my ass on fire. Neither is a 9-minute presentation either on there. I think you get a nice sweet spot, 15, 20 minutes, accompanied by maybe a state of play before or afterwards. I mean, right now the rumor is that there's a new state of play going to be rolling around the week of TGS, which is this upcoming week, and so we'll have to see about all that business. One thing to keep in mind too, we keep saying it's only $700. I feel bad for the people in UK and in Europe, because basically, if you look at the currency, the exchange, it's coming out to be almost $900 US, $950, $1,000. So I could see at that point, especially if you don't have a deep and robust PlayStation library already, or say if you came into this where you're sitting over there like Mr. King out there, Mr. Iron Lords or whatnot, they're going to look at this and just laugh their ass off, because their libraries are all on Xbox. They're playing games on Xbox primarily and just dabbling on PlayStation for a first-party game here or there. But for us that are playing primarily on PlayStation, I want to see what the system does with PSSR, because with the whole machine learning and playing PS4 and PS5 games that don't have native support for a Pro console, to be able to go in, and they don't have to necessarily patch it to be able to get a better benefit as far as using PSSR. So to me, that kind of makes it even though it's not talked about in Cerny's presentation about how it's going to affect the back catalog of games, because I have a ginormous backlog, and so I could even think of a game like EDF6 where I could see where I get more bugs on the screen, more ants and roaches and frogs and whatever you want to call
down,
it.
Sir.
I'm about going into a Orkin commercial over here. So, but in the end, I mean, my biggest question right now is not if I'm on the buy it. My question is if I'm on the buy two PS5 Pros. So.
Well, not everybody is flossing like you, Joe. So
I know, God forbid.
I mean, over here stunting on folks. So maybe I'll just borrow yours. Maybe you can buy me one, Big Daddy. How about that? Come over and hang out at my house and play it.
Put a ring on it, son. No,
please.
Oh, God.
Please.
I know. If you lived in the same vicinity as I do, you happen not to live in my vicinity, you're more than welcome to come over. One reason why I bought a second PlayStation is to be able to. I think I had some trading money at GameStop at the time, and I wanted to use it as my desk set with my laptop and use it to play VR games on, see how well that went. So, I'm buying one right now, and then we'll see as far as what my use case is. I'm planning on at least taking the one I'm upgrading to and maybe putting the other PS5 in my bedroom, just in case I want to get a little bedroom gaming going on, or possibly trade it in.
Yeah.
No,
The
come to
best
my
laid
house, who's
plans.
gonna get like a 42-inch OLED in my can. Have another one set up in the shower. No, I'm just kidding. So,
No, please don't.
yeah.
Have you electrocute yourself trying to play some games? Don't do that. Ugh. Well, all right then.
Yeah,
So you heard it from the vessels. Let us know if you're gonna buy them or not. I would love to hear your thoughts about it, especially after we get through the Jabroni Gaming News, because he's gonna go through a little bit more information about the PS5, just to hopefully round out the knowledge that we have. So without further ado, what follows me. It's the Jabroni Gaming News.
all right. Thank you, Des.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, so like we've been talking about, pretty much PS5 Pro has been unveiled this past week on here. So it is retailing for $799.99 on there. So that's not $699.99. Excuse me, it's $799.99 in
You're
Europe.
just adding money on top.
Oh, I know. And 699 pounds in Great Britain. So I mean that is not something to sneeze at. It does come up with a 2 terabyte SSD though. There were some rumors prior to the unveiling that the DualSense was going to get updated, but no, there's no updated DualSense or anything like that. It is going to be diskless, like we've talked about, but you can go ahead and buy the PS5 Slim Disk add-on for $79.99. I know the big kind of boondoggle about the disk add-on is that you have to go in and activate it prior to using it. So people are worried that 30 years from now, when someone wants to play PS5 Pro titles, that if there's no server for us to activate the disk add-on, that we'd be screwed, glued, and tattooed. But we'll see how that's gonna land in disk.
Ain't nobody gonna be playing on disc 30 years from now. That's a dumb argument.
Yeah.
All of your games that you're buying, that you have from now into 30 years, are going into the cloud. And you have to remember, every game that you buy, whether it's on disc or it's digital, you're just buying an access license. You're not really buying the game. So it's an at will of the company, both of the platform holder and the developer of the game. You don't really own shit. And this is coming from somebody who buys physical whenever possible. I know when I'm getting that disc, it's still in essence a license. I understand that. So people need to just understand that going in.
Got it. Well, as far as the perks of the system, it does have an upgraded GPU. So they're upgrading the GPU to a 67% more compute units than the current PlayStation 5 and 28% faster memory on here. So they also has advanced ray tracing in there. And also AI-driven upscaling with the PSSR. Now, a lot of people have been terming it as pisser, but we'll take the high road versus the low road on that. So. Basically, they just want to be able to let you be able to play your games in quality mode at 60 frames a second. The way it was explained on Mark Cerny's presentation is that 75% of PlayStation gamers right now elect to do performance versus quality, and so basically they wanted to make sure to kind of bump up quality so that quality can run at the same frame rate as performance. And so like a lot of the games that normally you're going to play in quality at 30 frames a second, and with a lot of DLSS and upscaling and whatnot, can play better for you. So they mentioned that there's some support at the beginning, including Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hogwarts Legacy, which was also included in the presentation, Marvel Spider-Man 2, so on and so forth. So, they did show the look of the PlayStation 5 Pro. It does have like 3 black bars kind of going on each side on there. So, and it's bigger than the PS5 Slim, but not as big as the original PS5. So, yeah, but the system is coming out on November the 7th. PlayStation Direct is going to open pre-orders as of September 26th, which would be the Thursday that me and Des were going to be in Japan. Maybe I'll have to break out at 3 o'clock in the morning in my damn hotel room.
Just don't wake me up.
I'll be Des, wake up! We got to get those pre-orders in.
Nope. Knock yourself out, buddy. Rolling over. Don't wake me up, please. Thank you. Enjoy. Bye. No, I'm serious. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay. So me and Des are actually staying in the same room this time, So I was like, well, we'll have to see. We'll see how that rolls. So. But ultimately, we need to find more information out about the PlayStation 5 Pro. I think, I think we're going to get more information, especially from outlets like Digital Foundry, once they are able to get a hands-on on there, or when they find out through their channels as far as through Sony as far as what exactly this is going to detail for certain games and whatnot. I'm sure, just like with the PS4 Pro, where there was ultimately a database of like people doing measurements as far as for each game, we'll probably see on there. So, but with the PSSR, they're looking at supporting like 8,500 games from PS4 and PS5 games on there, and it's a point that like I stated in the main event, that they don't have to per se go in and repatch it on there. That PSSR will actually work to upscale and get a little bit more juice out of the games that you do own. So to me, that kind of makes it to where a $200 upgrade, you could consider a $279 upgrade with the disc. But in the end, I think especially for me, I mean, we already talked about it's like go on here. I know John BT kind of mentioned in the Discord that the new Series X, the white Series X with the disk drive and the additional 1 gig of memory, 2 terabytes gig, extra terabyte of memory on there, costs $599.99. So basically, this is like just a $100 upgrade, So pretty much it. But as far as the reaction from the internet, not exactly a lot of hate, a lot of like just back and forth. I know there's been a lot of gloating from Xbox fanboys too. So, but at the same time, they're not getting a pro model of anything on their side of the fence either. So we'll have to see on there. Another thing that I found kind of interesting is that through a back channel company, PlayStation has actually been receiving trade-ins for PlayStation 5 consoles. And so if you go to PlayStation Direct, they actually do take trade-ins of PlayStation 5 consoles. And so now they're going to start selling refurbished consoles through their website. So according to the listings on there, they have a listing coming soon, but you'll be able to get a refurbished PS5 with a disc drive for $399.99 on there. So to me, that's actually a pretty damn good deal, especially if you don't have a PS5 currently, or if you're contemplating on throwing an extra system, like maybe in another room or throwing one out in your living room. I think, that might be a good thing. They do offer a 1-year warranty with it as well. So, and, we'll have to see. I don't know how you guys feel about, for people out there looking for a certified refurbished unit, if that's a good way to go, get more people into the user base if need be. So
yeah, if it works, go for it.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the good old PS5 Pro from either of you two?
I don't have any, because I already told you where I'm going to be at. So I'll be playing it at your house, checking it out, and then I'll probably get it in a in a year. I mean, it's just I was watching FetLife Fextra Life on YouTube, and he said something that was really kind of interesting. You might want to check it out. I might post it into the Discord. But he was talking about how PC gamers usually for PCs when they're talking about upgrades, they don't generally, and please, I'm not a PC gamer, so please, people in the comment section, please let us know if you're listening to this on YouTube or if you're listening to this on our Discord, or if you have access to our Discord, please post it. But it's like most PCs get refurbished every 5 years because the technology moves at such a rapid pace. So having a quote unquote refresh in the PC community is not that uncommon to happen within 5 years. So playing a system for more than a decade is just unheard of. Or playing a PC, for 10 years is pretty much unheard of because you have to refresh every so often. So it's almost like PlayStation is trying to sort of take that model, and they have been with the PS4 Pro, to do these sort of systematic refreshes every 5 years before they give out the PS6. Because if we're thinking about how this is going to play out, we got the PS Pro we got the PlayStation 5 almost 5 years to the date of that coming out. We get the Pro. That's probably going to last for another 5 years, and then we're going to get the 6. So if you're thinking in your mind about that, or if you think that that's how the consoles are going to be doing this, then you can, as a consumer, you can kind of think, okay, can I wait for the PS6 or not? Do I need this refresh? And I think that's what separates consoles from PCs, is because you can get a full-fledged, console out the box and it still plays great. A PC, sometimes you got to do this stuff in order to keep it with the Joneses. And again, I could be wrong. Please let me know in the comments if this is not the case, because if it is, then it makes more sense from a parts kind of and updates kind of mentality. And I think if that's what they're trying to do, then that's that'd make a lot of sense. So
yeah, I mean, if you're a PC gamer, you're just going to scoff at all this console stuff. That the PS5 Pro might not be for you. You're better off maybe upgrading your rig, especially if you consider PlayStation and other consoles to be kind of like your additional thing to do. It's like, if it's something to where I play console games, but I only play like the first party stuff, or I play the tentpole AAA titles that don't come out for PC day and date, you might not want to make the investment just to play 3 games better,
yeah,
on there. You're better off going and getting the latest graphics card or upgrading your CPU, and that's the type of gamer you are. Then, I'd say you kind of scoff at the PS5 Pro, or just say it's not for me per se, not basically look down at the console fanboys out there. My biggest argument is that, just like everyone says they have a huge Steam backlog, I have a huge PlayStation backlog. And so, I mean, I know, especially if Phil Spencer decided to come out with this, Xbox Death Star with all the bells and whistles, it don't matter to me because I don't have an Xbox library of games I really want to even play. I'm playing just whatever is on Game Pass and whatever 3 games I happen to own on Xbox just because they were exclusive, like Grim Dawn or something like that. So, so that's pretty much it. So anything else to add, Kev, as far as PS5 Pro before we go and move on?
Not really. Just my only thing is that the press. Well, I don't know if you're gonna be talking about that later on, but the press needs to actually be the press, the gaming press, and stop acting like a bunch of fanboys. Like, for real, for real. IGN has been acting retarded over this whole PlayStation 5 Pro nonsense. Dustin Laguerre is acting like this is the replacement model for the PlayStation 5 until what's his name, Litterman, just kind of shut his whole fanboy argument down on his own podcast, which was hilarious. It's silly because everybody's asking, like, who's this for? Who's this for? Why is anybody going to buy this? Who's this for? And the people that are asking, who's this for, are the same people when the CEO of NVIDIA comes out and tells them that 4090 that they just bought last year is a piece of shit. Here's the 5090 for $3,000. They're gonna be slobbering and jobbering all over it. So there is just like a whole lot of hypocrisy and dishonesty. I mean, I expect that from the fanboys. That's one thing. But when it comes from the press, it's no wonder that they are hated amongst the gaming community now, because they can't be honest. So
might be more of a hive mind kind of scenario, but even on like boards and whatnot, I mean, there's a lot of like discontent going back and forth, So, like, I know on Resetera, it just seems like it's been overwhelmingly negative against PlayStation. So
Resetera is a bitch fest anyway. I mean, that's one thing. I'm talking about the press.
Yeah.
I expect that from Resetera. But when it's the press that is saying all this ridiculous nonsense, now everybody is reaching back to their Texas Instrument T86 from grandma's house and pulling out the CPU and trying to convince folks that they can build a $700 PC that'll smoke the Pro. Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Get a freaking grip. And it's some folks from so-called professional websites that are falling in line with this stuff too. Again, I expect it from the fanboys. You don't expect this from so-called legitimate sources of information, because you're misleading your clients, the people that go to you for information.
Yeah. Obviously, it's the same thing. It's just like if you're a news outlet covering politics, you're going to write a nice thesis about some, point, or you're going to write another article about, Haitians eating dogs and cats. It's like, it's freaking ridiculous, that the sensationalism kind of stirs the pot a lot of the time. So,
yeah, negativity drives social media.
Yeah.
All right. So next thing we're going to talk about, speaking of negativity, we're going to talk about Concord a little bit here. So Concord, if you well know, it was a live service shooter. And when I say the word was, is because it got launched, and within 2 weeks, Sony has pulled the game in its entirety, wiped it out of existence. So according to at least some sources saying that game sold right around maybe 40,000 units altogether between PC and PlayStation Network. And so people were out there because there's a lot of we even talked about before on the show, as far as when the game got unveiled, that it looked like some Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff with hero shooter elements and so on and so forth. The actual people that played the game actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but that didn't get properly communicated to everyone out there on there. And so I think this is another one of they made a bet and they rolled with it, regardless of what the temperature was out there about this game, and they decided to bring it out, have a limited edition DualSense along with it, and it was a big fat nothing burger basically with the community out there. And it kind of sucks because there was a good game within the actual game itself, I just kind of wish in a way that this was maybe not a hero shooter, but just a straight up, like, third person action game of some sort. I could forgive even like some of the character designs kind of being kind of
hokey.
Yep, you got it.
Some of those designs are just bad, just terrible. What can be said about Concord that hasn't already been said?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention because we haven't talked about it on the show, and we're going back and forth a little bit on the Discord about it, just mentioning the fact of that. I mean, from people out there that were enthusiastic about the game, I wound up, I said, I got my, if you remember, if you're a long time listener or even a short time listener, I talked about back after my birthday that I got some Target merchandise credit for returning Persona 3 Reload to Target. And so I had that gift card just burning a hole in my pocket. So I wound up buying Concord on disc right after launch. And of course, I installed it on my PlayStation 5, but since I'm in Secret of Mana and Summer Backlog Blowout mode, I'd never fired it up. And by the time they pulled the rug on this bad boy, I wound up, okay, what am I going to do with this physical disc that I actually opened? Because, usually when you open a game at a retail outlet, they're not going to allow you to be able to return it, So according to the article, the PlayStation blog article, it said other retailer refunds for customers who have purchased a physical copy at a retailer location outside of the PlayStation directly. Please refer to the refund process of the retailer you purchased it from to obtain your refund. Most retailers like Walmart, Target, GameStop, they're going to just scoff at your ass if you try to bring a open game back and say, I want to play something else or buy something else. So I haven't followed up to see for the rare people that actually bought a physical edition. For me, I just basically went in, showed them the blog post. They said, okay, go get something else.
Really?
I grabbed something else because I was scrambling because I have everything I want right now.
They honored it though?
They honored it, yeah. I wound up, I grabbed the game. I think I grabbed God of War Ragnarok for PS4 because it was like $40. And I figured, this will be okay. And then I got to the register and they basically told me, oh, the register's making me give you a merchandise credit instead. So it's like, okay, I'll take the merchandise credit. You can put God of War back. I'm good. I'll just take this merchandise credit and use it when I want to. So yeah. So I was able to get a full refund. Not my cash back in hand, mind you, but I mainly paid it using a merchandise credit. So I pretty much got merchandise credit back. So I'm good to go.
That's good for you, JoJo.
Good for me. I debated about keeping the disc, though, even though it's just going to be a Frisbee after they close the game on September 6th. I know there was a fair bit of people out there buying Concord sealed and selling on eBay for $150 for some freaking reason.
Because people are dumb.
The funny thing is that Concord might wind up being one of those collectors gems, even though it's dead. You can't even play the dang game. There's so much. It's weird how venom and vitriol can somehow make a product desirable from a collector's perspective. It's very odd. I mean, myself, I've cracked my fair share of jokes about Concord, but the gameplay didn't appeal to me whatsoever. So I didn't feel it necessary to go on a tirade about it because I wasn't going to play the game anyway. Yeah. But what cracks me up is that all these people who had no interest in the game but have just created in a whole online industry of just crapping all over this game when they most likely had no interest in it. I mean, people are there are whole YouTube channels now completely devoted to redesigning the characters. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
I have not.
These digital artists are coming out of the woodwork and saying, "Oh my gosh, these designs are such crap. Here, let me show you how to properly design a character." And like and some of these guys are old DC Marvel artists who seemingly haven't been relevant for the past decade and a half, and they're finding new life redesigning Concord characters.
I mean, hey, get it where you fit it, I guess.
Hell, hire Eric Larson, make it a Savage Dragon like hero shooter or something. Yeah, it's like
I'd play that.
I mean, it's just so. It is just the controversy surrounding Concord is so much more interesting than the game seems to be itself. And I think that's the biggest unfortunate aspect of it. If that controversy could have been swirling around a game that had maybe greater appeal across the board, this could have been lightning in a bottle. But it just didn't, because it's competing with Overwatch and Fortnite and, for that matter, that free to play Call of Duty and Marvel,
Valorant.
Yeah, all these established free to play juggernauts, and here comes Concord asking you for $40. It's I don't know.
I thought they would go and just make it a PlayStation Plus essential game and basically give it to everyone, but I think even in its state right now, it would have been just bad.
If they did that, I would have at least tried it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
According to their blog post, they said they're quote unquote exploring options, but I basically think unless they just entirely reboot the game with new characters and call it something else, that the stank of Concord it's just like,
that game is dead.
Going to be introduced on there, and I kind of feel.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel for the people that actually like the game, because like I listen to Player One podcast, and I know one of the hosts on there, Chris Johnson or Super Puck. He liked it so much that he was just playing it to the end, and he created a YouTube channel with all the PR material and stuff to kind of keep those videos up, because obviously PlayStation scrubbed those off the plane of existence. And for him, he bought a sealed copy of Concord just to have as his like kind of love for the game a little bit. Like he really enjoyed playing it, and so he also bought a Concord T-shirt, because PlayStation's merchandise store was selling Concord merch on top of everything else. So imagine where those T-shirts are going to wind up. You're going to see these like homeless guys running around with Concord T-shirt merch on or whatever. As far as I'm sure they didn't get that deep where they had like Concord blankets or
Concord onesies.
Yeah, nothing like that. But they did have some Concord merch available on the PlayStation Direct merchandise store, so it's just like they had to pull all that stuff on there. But kind of pour one out, and it just kind of goes to show, especially I think this whole initiative that was introduced a few years at PlayStation for service games has just kind of fell flat in their face a little bit. So. On there, it's
a little day late, dollar short when you got all these other ones already here.
Yeah,
I'm just glad they reduced it from a dozen to like 5 or 6. Hopefully it's been reduced even more, because I think the risk and reward is just way too much risk.
Well, now you got to look at that Jade Raymond game that is still being worked on. And I
wouldn't be surprised if that one's been Deep Six too. It really wouldn't surprise me if they just Deep Six that, and we just never hear about it again. I'd be really surprised if we hear about it in upcoming states of play or what have you. Really surprised.
I'm looking for the name of the game right now, because I totally forgot the name of the game. It got introduced
anymore.
It's called Fair Games.
Fair Game, yeah.
With the S at the end, with the $sign at the end, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's still in development. I've kind of heard Marathon from Bungie is in a really bad state too, which we maybe have talked about, but we'll have to see. I mean, I think if PlayStation was going to come up with a service game, they should have done The Last of Us, but even Naughty Dog said they didn't want to bother doing all the work required to follow up on a actual like free to play, multiplayer online game. And it's just not their bag if need be. So we'll have to see what happens with all this. So, all right, next thing, talk about Annapurna Interactive. For whatever reason, they were in a negotiation to spin off the company to another owner, and their plans fell through. So the entirety of their staff, all 25 members of their team, resigned in disgust on here. So a lot of people were thinking that this would be the end of Annapurna Interactive, but they've come out to say that they are basically going to be rehiring, hiring some people to kind of fill in the blanks. Maybe Des, if you want to, get your resume ready.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, but they are going to still keep their games intact as far as what they had planned. So a lot of people were thinking they're pouring one out for Annapurna, but actually Annapurna is still going to linger on. Just kind of same thing with like Humble Games and what happened with them as well, because they fired their entirety of their staff and are going out to third-party contractors. So if you haven't been aware as far as what Annapurna has brought out previously, they brought out games like Cocoon and Stray and other titles on here. As far as the titles that they have that are announced coming out, includes such games as Mixtape, if you remember that from the Xbox Games Showcase on there. Other games called Wanderstop is being worked on right now. So pretty much everything that's in development there is still going to be worked on. Some people were kind of concerned because there's some backing from Annapurna to Remedy as far as Control 2, that they put some money behind it, but the money in question came from Annapurna, the movie and film division and TV division, versus from Annapurna Interactive. So nothing was affected as far as with Remedy and Control 2 on there. So pretty much everything that's supposed to come out from Annapurna is still coming out. So it's pretty much just, I think some of the developers stated that they're going to miss the people that they work with because they felt like they were good employees and they felt like they had passion for their titles if need be. But, sometimes, Des, what's your overall opinion? You think Annapurna, you think it's going to maybe not be as good now that all those staff left, or you think that they're still going to steer the ship to where these replacement people coming in will be able to kind of curate said titles to be able to still keep that kind of quirkiness of their their catalog and what games they decide to publish?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's definitely going to be a bit of a, well, not a bit of, there's going to be a lot of turnover, and we're going to have to see where the company's philosophy lands. I really hope that they don't change completely.
No,
but I think these things happen for a reason, and maybe the quirkiness wasn't enough, or maybe they needed a little bit more. I don't know. That's I hope that they're able to keep that quirk, because I liked most of the Annapurna games that came out, because at least they were doing something different in the market. But maybe they're too different. Maybe this is just a normal thing that kind of happens with companies that get to a certain size. But I wish them the best, and I really hope that this doesn't showcase a much larger, well, not showcase, but signal a much larger decline from the company. So it is my hope that they stick around, because I don't want any other companies to close. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah, and really Annapurna, in a way, it's like Annapurna Pictures is basically brought out by, I think, I'm trying to think of the name of the actual Megan Ellison, which I have no idea who that is, but I guess it's a prominent multi-billionaire if need be. She's the daughter of Larry Ellison on here, so he's the billionaire. So this has been kind of like his own, like his daughter's like passion project for both movies, TV, and also games on here. So I guess from reading, he's worth billions and billions of dollars that he was involved with IBM back in the 70s and Oracle and whatnot. So,
he got some money. He
got some money. Yeah,
he can help his daughter out. Daddy can help out.
So pretty much, I think, and they probably got tired of dealing with these billionaire owners, and just the staff just decided to say, "Hell with you all, we're out." So.
Oh well.
All right. And speaking of being hell with you all and out, Hideki Itsuno is leaving Capcom after 30 years. So if you're not familiar with Itsuno's work, he pretty much helped kind of work on the better Devil May Cry's on here, Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5. He's also done Dragon's Dogma was his passion project, and so he was finally able to do Dragon's Dogma 2, but he has finally decided to leave Capcom after 30 years. So, so he was working for 30 years and 5 months.
That's you, Joe.
Gone off to better development, I guess. So we're developing a new game and then with a new company. So I'll have to see, but Kev, are you kind of pouring one out? Because do you think the Capcom of now would be able to crank out a new DMC anytime soon, or you think they kind of reached the fruition of what could be accomplished with that series?
I mean, I'm going to say I think that Capcom is more than capable of producing a DMC game in that same vein. They have the blueprint right there. You know how he made the game. You know where he put his time into development, the move set, the style, making these moves look impressive. The only way that they would fumble the ball is if they pulled a Team Ninja, and they just said, "Well, screw you, Itagaki. We know how to make Ninja Gaiden." As long as they don't do that and just go completely antithetical to the what would you say, the blueprint that he left behind, I think they can do it. As long as you got to keep egos out of the way. You got to keep ego out of the way.
Yeah, I kind of wish in a way, because I know Zuno has always said he wanted to go back and do a new Rival Schools game, and so like he was the director of both Rival Schools games, Rival Schools and then Project Justice. So it's like, I guess there's only so much Capcom can do, but this guy kind of got after other staff left, pretty much working on Devil May Cry and working on Dragon's Dogma and doing some other projects if need be. But it seems like I think he probably wants to do other stuff beyond those two franchises, so probably better for him to hit the dusty road if that's the case. So
yeah.
All right, so go ahead and cover some announcements and release dates to round out the Jabroni Gaming news for this episode. No Man's Sky got another update, because No Man's Sky is going to continuously get updated, and we'll probably be talking about updates in the next 10 to 15 years. You never know, but
that's great.
Latest update for No Man's Sky is the Aquarius update. So what have they added with the Aquarius update? They have added fishing to the No Man's Sky equation. So fishing in No Man's Sky, you could basically now explore the universe to find your perfect waterside spot, hopping with fish on here. So you could basically fish for hours if you want on here. So obviously, since you're reaching all these procedurally generated worlds, you never know what you're going to catch either. So they pretty much have added that, and they also have a point where you could actually venture into the ocean in your exo skiff on here. So you actually were able to create a platform where you could actually go underwater in the game as well. And so you also have a fishing log where you could basically log in all your rare catches on there, automated fish traps on there, and I guess they have a Aquarius expedition right now. They have a quest going on where you could go on a quest across the galaxy to catch fish on here. So I guess whoever completes the Aquarius expedition will earn a detailed set of deep sea customization parts, including a underwater jetpack on here. So and this also includes new cooking recipes, fishing records, so on and so forth. So if you ever want to dive back into No Man's Sky, I mean, I've known people. I have a coworker. In fact, he's now my current supervisor. He said that he has played about 1,500 hours, or not, 1,500 hours of No Man's Sky. That's the game he plays on this PlayStation 5. So
that's good for him.
The only game he plays. He comes home, gets a shot of Jack or Jim, whatever his preference is, and plays No Man's Sky and tries to forget about the stress of our workplace. So
more power to him. I mean, whatever works, sir. Whatever works.
Yeah, whatever works, indeed. So, but I might, once this backlog blowout's over, who knows? Maybe I'll have to fire up some No Man's Sky and just pretend not to beat any games and just play that game.
Oh no, sir! So. You forget. We're gonna do we have
fall backlog blowout.
Fall backlog freeze. No,
okay.
Yeah, or something. I don't know.
We'll have to think of the name. We'll have to, we'll put it back in the shop and brainstorm a little bit.
So gotta let you all know that Joe's like super excited for this thing to be over because he just wants to play his comfort food again. This has been torture for him. Torture.
That's what I want to play my Tiny Tinas and my EDFs and Astrobots.
He's like, I just want to enjoy games, damn it. So I don't know if we're gonna be doing this so soon after the last one. So just pay attention.
We'll see. I think especially fall and winter, they bring out these quote unquote heavy hitters. So
you never know.
Never know. So also I want to touch about Astrobot. So Sony Interactive Entertainment and Team Asobi have announced that they're going to be releasing free downloadable content for the game. So this will include both speed runs and new VIP bots on here. So yeah, they're going to have free content. So basically, they're going to have some speed runs that you could do, and then you can compete with your friends as far as shaving time off of your run if need be. There's some new VIP bots to rescue. So, and they're going to add some new content for the game. So I'm be kind of looking forward to that after I get a chance to play the game. Are you going to be like trying to get to the leaderboards, Kev, and do some speed runs on Astrobot possibly?
No, I'm not. I'm not a platformer aficionado, so
ain't chasing that.
I'm not chasing that, but I'm just going to enjoy the game just for the sake of enjoying the game.
Yeah, they're going to have they're going to add new VIP bots in there too, which is going to have other bots from other games included that they're going to leak in or drip in every so often. So they're going to like expand some of the levels. They kind of did the same thing with Astro's Playroom, where they've added some nooks and crannies that weren't there previously. So that might be fun to go back to and possibly play as well. So, All right. And last but not least, a game that we know and love, its spin-off, Earth Defense Force World Brothers DOS #2. It's coming out worldwide, but for both PC and console on September 26th. So it's coming out for PS5, PS4, Switch, and both Steam and Epic game stores on the PC. So sorry, Xbox, no EDF World Brothers 2 for you. Maybe Phil will have to slip a money hat in or not, so.
I doubt it.
Yeah. We'll have to see. So, Basically, and they also stated that because the big boondoggle with EDF6, if you do not link your Epic Game Store account, you'll still be able to play online with others, just not with people on Epic if need be. So if you remember EDF6, Steam owners got pissed off because why do I have to? I don't want to do anything with Epic. Piff piff. So guess what? You can still play online with EDF World Brothers 2.
Launcher Wars.
I know. But I actually enjoyed World Brothers 1 from what I played of it. And, while we're in Japan, I'm going to see if this has actual English on the physical. I mean, it'd be cool to buy it if it does. If not, I guess it's a joint for me on here. But it's coming out day and date anyway, so I'll be able to buy it digitally if need be. But are either of you two? Are you gonna maybe dive back in or check out World Brothers? Or, I know you didn't really care for the first one. I don't think, right?
Who are you talking to, me or Kev?
Both of you.
I didn't. It's not that I didn't care about it. I just didn't really play it.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to play it, I'll play it with you. I'd like to try it out. I mean, I didn't really. I've only really played the core EDF games. So that's the ones that where I kind of cut my teeth and had fun with. So if you want to play any of the spin-offs, I'll play it with you. I like EDF as a franchise, so I'll play it. It's just you just gotta let me know.
Yeah, the thing about World Brothers 2 right now, I'm not sure, especially since I've only played I think the first 18 levels of EDF6.
Oh.
Even if I buy it now, it's I'd rather just cut my teeth with EDF6 if need be. And I think a lot of people would as well. It's just the long gestation period for the English translation of EDF6 kind of come to bite it in its bug butt, basically. So, but if you want more voxel EDF, guess what? Have at it, because it is pretty damn fun. So first World Brothers is actually on PlayStation Plus Extra, so for those of you out there with the membership, might want to check it out too. So, and that concludes the Jabroni Gaming News for this episode.
All right, game night takes place every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. That is the day and time that we set aside to play games with our growing Discord community. So if you have a game that you'd like to play, if you're interested, if you just got a brand new multiplayer game and you're looking for a group of folks to play with, I would highly encourage you to post that interest on our game night on our Discord server. So you might be asking, well, how do we do that? Well, you just head on over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X. And you head on over to @GamingVessels, GamingVessels. You tap the link in the bio, and you're in. So there is no merch that you have to buy to join, and there is no Patreon tier list that you need to pay for in order to join. Just ask that you be a good person, likes talking and playing video games, exploring different viewpoints on the topic, on the industry. Different viewpoints are debated, but they are done with respect, which is something that is getting harder and harder to find on much larger social media platforms. So if any of that sounds good to you, I would highly encourage you to check us out at our Gaming Vessels Discord server. So with that said, that's going to bring episode 258 to a close. We want to thank you for hanging out, cooling out, chilling out, without a doubt, with us on this episode. So for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Hater.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that Gamer Stepdaddy. And for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
A.k.a. yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I'm Shonuff71, a.k.a. Digadulamite.
That purple bling bling, never forget, y'all.
And we'll be back next episode, 259 for your ears. Peace.